very tense. I'm basically at this point, right. Some of you have seen some of the videos, some of you have seen all of the videos, some of you probably still don't have a clue what's going on. I don't blame you. It's been hard enough for me to keep up with this, and I've been living it. So really now at this point, we've proved they're stealing money, we've proved that we're endangering life by not resurfacing the lay-by, we've proved that the police have been covering it up, you know, the threatening behaviour, harassing behaviour, arresting my mate, threatening to arrest me, blah blah blah, etc etc etc. Right, it's all getting very boring, guys, for those authorities watching this, because you're guilty and you know you're guilty, and that's the end of it really. And you really need to stop doing stupid things, you know. See, I don't care about your procedures, right? You know, to be quite honest, your procedures are an absolute joke, because you think as long as you follow the procedures then your job is done. It's not. You're sitting on 30 years of corruption here, to be quite honest. So that's the end of the story, really. And that said, of course, we've already had the emails back from the IPCC and the Information Commission officer, who of course have practically cleared themselves of all wrongdoing, because that's what they do. And anyway, I knew you were watching my videos because you told me, which was quite nice of you. I've got a fair idea you're all over my Facebook and my Twitter, because, you know, I can feel you're just creeping over me, and quite honestly, guys, you know, if you want to call yourself the police or whatever, you know, try enforcing some law and order, really. You know, I'm not just covering up crimes for you, mate. And well, you know, I laugh, but you're quite sad and pathetic, really. I think pouncing around in your little uniforms, pretending you're in charge. You're not. The taxpayer is, so that's the end of the story. Anyway, so I unexpectedly received a notification today, and it seems that Waterhouse Coopers have been sneaking a peek at my LinkedIn account, no less. And I doubt they want to offer me a job somehow, to be quite honest. And it got me to thinking, because obviously the Audit Commission has gone back to them and told them everything, because I grassed them up to the Audit Commission. So obviously there's a big cover-up going on there too. Well, where isn't there in this case? So they're obviously chatting away, having lunches and dinners and stuff, probably which they billed to the taxpayer, having a bit of a laugh about covering all this up, but that won't last long. And yes, having gone back to the whatdotheyknow.com site, I'd sent an email to the Audit Commission on the 25th of July, having, because they hadn't answered my question. I didn't actually look at their reply, I should have, but what I'm fairly sure they'd come back with was that no one had done anything wrong, which is all I've heard for the last 5 years. So I then obviously that popped up in August to say they hadn't answered that. So on the 27th of August, I think it was, I posted that. I said I wanted an internal review, because obviously it hadn't been explained why PwC delayed the completion of the audit for 6 months. It hadn't been explained why they lied about police permission being required for a trading licence, and it obviously hasn't been explained where the money's gone. Or even indeed where the council are still charging, which I just find, well, pretty much sums up these people's attitudes. So it really does. Now, before you all start shouting at me, I did write to the council when the Audit of Accounts was on, because of course anyone can see the accounts, and I gave the guy 2 weeks notice via letter, which means he should have replied by letter, because that's the way it works as far as I'm concerned, that I wish to come and see the accounts. A week later he replied to me by email saying I couldn't come down on that day, but I could come down 2 days later. So you know, that was just the answer I was waiting for, really, something along those lines, because I can't really see the council's accounts department being that busy, to be honest. I couldn't have had a time between, I think I said to him 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock on Wednesday morning. So I didn't bother, you know. But I've no doubt they've made up a fraudulent set of accounts by now anyway, because I've been asking to see them that long, and it was only because of the audit that they couldn't really stop me, and they were still trying to put me off. But then, as we know, these are people who lie about whose duty it is to empty a bin in a lay-by. So oh dear. So there we go. I think the workers are starting to panic. As I say, I'm getting limited, if any, response to any of my emails now, because they know they're all guilty, you know. But that's fine, because they keep on doing things like this, you know. So there we have it. I think certainly PwC is starting to panic. I don't know why the audit commission is doing nothing, presumably. Sitting there applauding 30 years worth of theft, I think. Well, much like the Chief Constable, really. So yes, that was just, I had to sort of put this one up because it was, well, I think it's worth the comedy value, really. But you know, this thicko truck driver that they laughed at for so many years, thinking I'd go away and never find out the truth, and now they're all running around in circles, desperately trying to think of a way to get out of it. So, yeah, there we are. I think it's safe to say I've got their attention.